You got it now?
Yeah, I got it.
Awesome.
Contribution margin over revenue.
Contribution margin over revenue. How do you calculate contribution margin? Neely? Neely's not here. Taylor Rogers. How do you calculate contribution margin? Which is also a review of a review, because we've talked about this today as well. Revenue minus variable cost. Don't you hate it when they're so easy that... Questions, comments, concerns, random thoughts? Are we good to go? Feel somewhat reviewed? I mean, it was a long weekend apparently for some of us. So, but do we now feel well reviewed and ready? Because now we're going to stop dealing with theory and we're actually going to kind of run some numbers through some formulas. So if there are no other questions or big yawns in the back row, then we shall, let's move on to Stone Monument Company A. Stone Monument Company A. Stone Monument Company A, what page? 21, 41? 41. Boy, we are rolling right along. Week 3 and we're in the 40s already. You're learning lots. So Stone Monument Company is a premier manufacturer of headstones. The following are the estimated costs of Stone Monument Company. How much? This tells us total variable cost per headstone, total fixed costs in total for the year. The company plans to sell its single product at $2,000 per headstone. Normal capacity of the manufacturing facility is 20,000 headstones per year. And you could be following the cue of the individual in the front row who's reaching for their calculator right now. That would be a good idea. We are going to be doing problems, and you're going to help me with those calculations. And so we need to, at first, required number 1, determine the break-even point in units and dollars. Mr. Schaefer, give me the break-even in units formula.
Fixed cost plus operating income divided by contribution margin per unit.
Ooh, you got the plural from the gentleman behind you. Per unit. CMU. Break-even in dollars formula, Mr. Sizer. What was the last thing you said? Precisely correct. Precisely correct. Okay, so let's do the top one first. Mr. Stansel, throw a number at me.
Variable manufacturing costs are $8 per headstone.
And where does that go? It looks like a helpful number, but where is it going to go?
Operating income?
The required, and what are we, read number 1 aloud for us.
Determine break-even point in units and dollars.
Okay. Class at break-even net income is? So I'm trying to help you here. Do you think it goes in operating income? What should go in operating income? 0. You can be quite confident of that. We don't want nothing there. We are calculating break even. Calculating break even. So we don't want anything there. Okay? Whew. Angie, what number would you try? What number would you try? Mm-hmm. 200. Why don't we deal with them both together rather than the 800 and the 200 separately? 1,000. Where's the 1,000 going to go? Is it a fixed cost? What's the label right by it? No. Okay. See, it's helpful. It's labeled. It goes somewhere, though. Or you can pick another number that's easier. Fixed cost is easier, if you want to do that one first. I'm sorry? You don't want to choose a number? You're stuck on this one. How do you calculate contribution margin? This was just asked by the young lady to your right. I'm sorry, revenue minus variable cost. And what number is it that you are focused on? Variable cost, look at that. Is that helpful? So where's it go? I'm sorry? That $1,000 is variable cost. The label is variable cost of $1,000, right? How do you calculate, you told me, how do you calculate contribution margin? Revenue minus variable cost. How do we do that on a per unit basis? It is selling price per unit minus variable cost per unit. What is that $1,000? Variable cost per unit. Okay? There we have it. See how fun that was? And how easy it is now. You know, in hindsight, it's quite easy. Cole Thomas. Give me another number. Fixed costs is 60 million.
No,
6 million. 6 million what? Dollars. Thank you. That's the easy one to get, right? Total fixed cost, you know, as you grow more experienced with these sorts of problems, if you're first, that's the number you're going to grab, because that's easy. Total fixed costs, 60, or I don't know, now I'm fixated on 60. $6 million. And then we are only missing, Aaron Weddle, we are only missing one number. It's, to be a little more accurate, what would be our name for per unit revenue? Revenue per unit, if you will. You got it. Everybody got it. They can whisper to it. Selling price per unit. What are we selling? Selling price per unit is the per unit equivalent of revenue. So selling price per unit times a bunch of, however many we sold equals revenue. So what is our selling price? $2,000 per headstand. And there we have it. And now you can start punching numbers on your calculators. David Wendler. Where's David? It's David here. David, no here. Kyle Wood is here. 6,000 units. And I like your answer because you gave me a label. I really like your answer because you gave me a label. 6,000 what? 6,000 units. 6,000 units to do what, Miles? To break even. Precisely correct. 6,000, we have to sell, or Stone Monument Company has to sell, 6,000 units in order to be able to break even. That's a useful piece of information, is it not? It's a goal, if nothing else.